So
Yes.
I arrived here in December, and everything was going well. I found myself in abdominal pain and ended up going into the hospital. And they said that I had fibroids. They said it was serious, and I would, at that point, I needed to have surgery. They said within the next 2 months, I would have to have surgery. And I take wellness and my body quite seriously, and I also believe that the body can heal if it's given the right environment to heal. Unfortunately, when it comes to fibroids, as you were saying, Black women are more likely to be diagnosed with them. We're also more likely to be told that we need to have surgery. We're also more likely to end up having hysterectomies from them, and at a younger age. So I decided at that point that, again, similar to my decision to not return to the UK, I decided when I was here that if this has happened here, I'm going to find a way to holistically heal from this. I'm not going to go under the knife. At that point, like, it's kind of last resort anyway. I'm kind of like, I'm not going to go under the knife. I'm going to see how I can manage this, because I wasn't happy with the doctor's prognosis. So at that point, that led me to seeking alternative ways to look at how I manage healing within my body. I would say that I ate reasonably well before, but I think I had lots of stress, lots of emotional stress that came from, I think there's just generally the life of living as a Black person in the diaspora, right? It's tough. You face systemic racism every day. You are always justifying yourself. Also, like, not being truly aligned with the job and the work that I was doing. All of that coupled with the pandemic. I feel like 2020 had been a high stress year. And I think when I arrived in Playa del Carmen, my body finally had a moment to relax, which essentially allowed all of the things that I was suppressing to come up. And I think that's why that came up. So, are you hearing this drill?
The knob?
No?
Yeah, the
No,
knob.
there's like, okay. Is it okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, okay, cool. Just making sure there's not too much background noise. So yeah, so I started seeking out alternative medicine, and in doing that, I've just reconnected to my body in a completely different way. So I've been working with, now when I look at it, and look back on the kind of things that I've been doing in terms of energy work, emotional healing work, changing and taking certain things out of my diet, I realized that the whole healing process really does come from approaching healing from a physical, mental, and a spiritual perspective. So physically, if you want your body to be in good health, yes, you need to be doing exercise, but you also need to be looking at what you're eating. So I went to see an acupuncturist. He practices traditional Chinese medicine. And he told me straight away, he was like, you need to not drink alcohol. You need to not have sugar. You need to not have processed carbs, so no white carbs. But even the more work I've looked into around wheat generally, I'd say even like whole wheat food is not necessarily good for our bodies, because wheat in the 1980s, they kind of manipulated the wheat germ to have a higher yield, to feed more people at a cheaper rate. And all kinds of chronic illnesses of the body have increased since then. So since then, since December, I've been making those changes to my diet, and then also looking at herbs for healing. But then on top of that, from an emotional perspective, I worked with a healer out here to do lots of emotional work, looking at what kinds of things I was suppressing that could be affecting my womb. And then just starting to draw out these emotions and draw out the things that were creating negative energy in my body. And then from an energy perspective, working with the acupuncturist to kind of reinvigorate essentially the life force, the chi, all of the natural energy that the body has, but can be suppressed because you're not eating well and you're not living a holistic lifestyle. And since then, like, the pain completely went away in December and hasn't come back since. And I actually feel my fibroid shrinking. So it's just I want to share that message, because I think had I not been curious in that way, that could have led me down a path where I was having surgery and I didn't know that I had options. And a lot of Black women end up in there, a lot of women, not just Black women, end up in this place where they don't know, they take what the Western doctor says as gospel, and they don't realize that there are other ways and other modalities to work with the body. So that's also just been a beautiful journey for me to go, because now I just feel more connected, more purpose in what I do. And I now live from a place where my body is 100% like what I prioritize. If I'm not feeling healthy, if I'm feeling stressed, if I'm feeling overworked, then what I'm doing cannot happen, because my body at this point in my life will not be sacrificed for anything. Because without my body, essentially, I don't get to live. I don't get to do anything. And Mexico really has given me the headspace to prioritize that. Like you were saying before, like if you're busy, you'll be like, I'm not going to cook tonight, I'm just going to have a takeaway, or like, I'm stressed, I'm going to eat emotionally, and all of those kind of things. Just being here has given me the opportunity to not fall into those habits and to see those habits for what they are, and just realize that if you live from a holistic perspective, life just is a lot sweeter. So yeah, that's that story.
I love it. Oh my goodness. That's so good. I think it's kind of the way that you kind of segued, it kind of segues into this. How has travel opened up possibilities for your life?
Oh, in so many ways. Like, yes, from a health perspective. Also the fact that we need vitamin D. Like, we absolutely need vitamin D. If people understood how much vitamin D affects your immune system, they'd realize that you need to be living in environments, or spending a lot of your time in environments where you're getting enough sun. So just that, in terms of being able to feel better in my body, Mexico has given me that. But then also just the people that you meet, like, you really do meet some phenomenal people when you travel. And I feel like particularly here in Playa del Carmen, it has attracted a lot of people who are doing really dynamic things with their life. And whereas in my old life, I would feel like I'm a bit outside the box, everyone's following the rules, and I'm like, but I want to do this. Where I am here is like, okay, you meet other people who are like you, who are thinking bigger, and it just enables you to make connections that you wouldn't otherwise make. It allows you to see life differently. It challenges you, because you will meet people who inspire you, who will make you think, oh, actually, am I doing enough? Or could I be doing something else? And you just get ideas in that sense. So yeah, I definitely feel more available to take bigger risks than I did before, when I was living in my old life, where I felt like I needed to fit into a mold. Now it's kind of like I approach life from a perspective of, what do I want to do? What do I feel like doing? What's my gift? What do I want to share with the world? And I work on bringing that into being, which is a wonderful way to live.
I totally agree with that. I definitely feel as if traveling, you meet the most amazing, unique, diverse group of people. And I feel really blessed to be able to travel and call myself an expat in this time period where majority of the world is shut down, and yet we're open, full of life, enjoying life with such a diverse group of people. Yeah, I really am enjoying that as well. And it has opened up tremendous possibilities for me. So I definitely agree with that. I'm so sorry. Give me just a minute. I am about to have a cough attack.
That's okay. You're on mute. You're on mute.
I haven't been coughing. I've just been sniffling, but I swallowed down the pipe when I was drinking.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get the cough all the way out, and the cough was like, "Hey, we here to stay."
Right. It's like.
Right. Okay. So, 3, 2, 1. All right, so has there been any challenges that you have faced by becoming an expat that you would like to share? Maybe ways to overcome those challenges, any unique ways, ideas?
I think the biggest challenge for me has just been stepping outside of a life where there were clear paths, and you can see in that corporate life, you can see when you're doing well and when you're not doing well, and when you're making the right decision and when you're not, and there's people to cheer for you or to guide you, or there are people there who kind of know the path that you want to walk and can help you in that way. Whereas when you live this expat life, yes, there are loads of possibilities, but then you need to work out how you navigate that. And also how you stay grounded, because there is so much that can be done all the time that you have to focus your attention on what your goals are. And yes, you want to evolve as you move along the journey. You don't want to be too short-sighted that you're not growing with the journey, but at the same time, you don't want to have your energy everywhere so that you can't focus and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Which for me, I think how I've overcome that is leaning more on my spiritual practices by far, like making sure that I prioritize my yoga, meditation, journaling, all of those things that get me outside of kind of my thinking mind and into my feeling mind, and making sure that I'm grounded in what I'm doing, and that when I feel